Okay, so China's trade surplus in 2024, it almost hit like $1 trillion Canadian dollars.
Wow.
A trillion with a T,
Yeah.
right? We're talking record-breaking numbers
Right.
for those who maybe need a refresher.
Yeah.
A trade surplus basically means that a country is exporting way more than it imports.
Right.
And we've got some excerpts here from a report on China's economic performance last year.
Interesting.
And, it gets really interesting when you consider that all this happened just before a new U.S. president, who has some pretty strong opinions about trade with China, takes office.
Well, and what's so fascinating about this is China's already just a powerhouse exporter, right?
Right.
But this surplus, I mean, this really takes it to a whole new level. Just to give you a visual, the port of Shanghai handled over 50 million shipping containers last year.
Wow.
That's how much stuff is flowing out of China to the rest of the world.
Yeah, that really puts it in perspective.
Yeah.
This report highlights that in December 2024 alone, exports jumped over 10%.
It's way higher than I think anyone was predicting.
Much higher than the economists were expecting.
Yeah, it's almost like Chinese businesses just hit the accelerator on production.
Yeah, and that's right. They did. The report actually quotes economist Ziwei Zhang.
Okay.
And he suggests that this surge, was very likely driven by Chinese factories just ramping up production.
Yeah.
In anticipation of potential U.S. tariffs.
Right.
It's a strategic move.
Oh, so almost like to try to get ahead of any trade restrictions?
Yeah.
That might be coming their way?
Like a preemptive strike.
Exactly.
In the trade world.
Exactly. It was a gamble.
Yeah. But was that risky, though? I mean,
absolutely.
What about retaliation from the incoming U.S. administration?
Well, for sure it was a gamble, but I think maybe one that they felt was necessary.
Okay.
It really, I think, underscores how anticipated policy changes can influence economic behavior.
Yeah.
Businesses are always trying to anticipate what's on the horizon. And I think in this case, they saw, a potential trade war coming.
Yeah, that makes sense. And this brings up another interesting point.
Okay.
The report also shows that imports increased last year, even though everyone thought they were going to decline.
Yeah, it's interesting.
So what's driving that?
Right.
Is it a sign of strength in China's domestic economy?
That's a really good question.
Yeah.
I mean, it could signal, a rise in domestic demand.
Yeah.
Maybe fueled by growing consumer confidence.
Okay.
Or perhaps it reflects businesses kind of stockpiling resources.
Right.
In anticipation of future uncertainties.
Right.
It's definitely something that deserves further analysis.
Yeah.
For example, if we look at the specific sectors
Right.
where imports increased, that could give us a clearer picture of what's driving this trend.
Well, of course, you can't ignore the elephant in the room.
Right.
The record $525 billion CAD trade surplus China has with the USA.
Right. Big number.
Yeah, it's a number that's definitely going to add fuel to the fire
For sure.
in the U.S.-China trade relationship.
Absolutely. This development has significant implications
Yeah.
for an already complex relationship,
For sure.
and especially considering the incoming U.S. president's stated plans
Right.
to impose more tariffs on Chinese goods.
Right.
I mean, this situation has the potential to just escalate tensions considerably.
So we've got this record trade surplus driven by, I guess, a mix of export dominance,
Right.
strategic maneuvering ahead of potential U.S. policy changes,
Exactly.
and surprisingly strong imports.
Yep.
All while a new U.S. administration, known for its tough stance on trade,
Yeah.
is stepping onto the global stage.
It is, and this raises a crucial question.
Okay.
For you to consider, how might China's economic strength play out on the global stage in the years to come?
Yeah.
What could this mean for you as a consumer or a
Yeah.
participant in the global economy?
Yeah.
Think about the potential impact on the prices of goods that you buy,
Okay.
the companies you invest in, or even the political landscape of your own country. These global shifts have very real, very local impacts.
Something to think about for sure.